I've cheated plenty of times in my life, by the way. But I'm a reformed cheater. I would never do it again.
So never again.
Never again. Sometimes if it's going to be a one-off thing and you sleep with someone one time and then you'll never cheat again and like you don't ever talk to that person again.
So as a reformed cheater.
It's not. It's a little bit different.
That's acceptable?
No, it's not acceptable, but like it's more understandable. I don't know. I kind of think everyone deserves a one-time cheat in their relationship or marriage.
So it's safe to say you're gonna cheat again.
Not when I have a ring on it.
What about engaged? You're just engaged. You're engaged for a year.
That's a gray zone.
Yeah, I know.
But once it's marriage, it's done.
Okay,
and I
so
hold
engaged.
to
So
that.
you're engaged. It's still on the table for you.
The one-time cheat. It's called the one-time cheat. There's no emotions. It's like you never hear from that person again.
Oh, fair enough.
But when you're married, absolutely not.
Got it.
Unless you're 10 years into it.
Oh gosh. I mean, you
And
have so many outs here.
No. This is what I think.
Okay. 10 years in.
We're bored. Let's like either do a or like let's have an open relationship or
Well, it's a conversation with you and your husband.
Yeah.
Maybe he's down for it. Maybe he's not.
What
What if he's not?
Then we'll have to figure something out. But I won't cheat. I will not cheat.
Okay.
Maybe divorce.
Guys, this woman is lying through her teeth. And as a man, you should never date or forgive a woman like this. I don't care if she's a 10 out of 10. Here's how it is. All cheating is bad, but it's worse when a woman does it to a man than if a man does it to a woman. Way worse. A very important concept to understand. However, it's quite bad that hardly anyone thinks this. And I see many men forgive girls like this for cheating when they absolutely should not. If your girl cheats, it's over. End of story. And to prove my point, in this video I have 5 reasons explaining how it's ever so much worse when a woman cheats than when a man does. I'll say one last point in this intro. This doesn't give you a free pass to cheat if you're a guy. But it's important for all men to know that the severity is magnitudes higher when a woman cheats than when a man does. Let's get into it. Reason 1. A man can waste years and potentially decades of his life and salaries if the woman he's with cheats and gives birth to a child that isn't his. For this first point, let me point out a glaring inequality between men and women in marriages, and I'll explain it using this chart. There are 4 quadrants. If the wife cheats and doesn't get pregnant, the marriage will likely carry on as normal, provided she doesn't get caught, of course. Similarly, if the husband cheats and doesn't get the woman he cheats with pregnant, again, the marriage will carry on as normal. However, things get interesting when we see a pregnancy is involved. In the case where the husband cheats and gets the other woman pregnant, it's almost guaranteed to result in the marriage falling apart as soon as his wife finds out. Then he'll lose half of his assets in the subsequent divorce. Then furthermore, he'll likely have to pay either child support to the new woman or get married to her and make huge new sacrifices in order to support this family. In any case, the man is basically screwed financially because he'll have 2 women hounding him for money. Now, when we look at the parallel situation where the wife cheats and gets pregnant, the husband has nothing to gain and everything to lose. As if he finds out, he'll have no choice but to divorce his wife, which at the minimum will be costly in terms of the lawyers, paperwork, and finding new living arrangements, or at a maximum will result in him again losing half his assets if the courts decide to rig against him. However, what would perhaps be substantially worse, and I pray for any men that live their life and have this happen to them, is if he never finds out. So he now goes on to spend 18 years of life and salaries raising another man's child. This is real. All over the internet are horror stories of guys who found out they were raising another man's child. Years wasted. This truly is a terrible thing to happen to any man and difficult to avoid unless you can seriously identify red flags in your partner. The official name of the concept I am explaining is paternal uncertainty, which is exclusive to men and states, while the female member of any mating pair can always be 100% assured that her offspring are her own, males enjoy no such guarantee. Therefore, this can result in the devastating outcome as I had just explained, but only for men, never for women. Some studies estimate the probability of this happening from 0.4% on the low end to 5.9% on the high ends, which is 1 in 20 men if we use the high estimate. And in scenarios where a couple actually goes and takes the test, this swells all the way up to 32% of husbands finding out their wife's child is not theirs. However, this is caveated slightly as it shows this is 1/3 of men who have a reason to take a paternity test, not 1/3 of all men. In other words, the men who actually want the test are likely to be suspicious to begin with. Anyway, that's reason number 1 why cheating is worse when a woman does it than a man. Now moving on to the second reason, which is based more on emotions and psychology. Reason 2. Men can cheat without emotions and for purely hedonistic reasons, whereas women can't and there needs to be at least some attachment involved. To explain this, it's probably easiest to try resonate with a life experience all men have had. If you're a guy, you've likely had at least some point in your life gone through post-nut clarity, which for the number of you who don't know, is a bit of a bro science term, but it depicts when you feel really invested in a particular woman or video, all the way through the build-up and right up until the moment you finish. But then as soon as you do finish, your mind more or less switches off from that stimuli and you're able to get right back to your life as before. In other words, this in essence highlights the minimal emotional investment men can have after pairing with a particular woman. On the other hand, women do not experience this phenomenon. And the reason is usually attributed to the varying levels of oxytocin produced by men and women during reproduction. This study, posted in the National Library of Medicine, found women have 3 times as much oxytocin than men on average. And what is oxytocin? Put simply, it is the attachment hormone. It's what makes two people feel bonded to one another and emotionally invested for the long term. Therefore, when a woman cheats, she's going to have lots of oxytocin produced, making her feel attached to the guy who she had just been with. Whereas when a man cheats, his oxytocin is far less, so he won't feel in love with her because his intentions were mostly hedonistic. This may also explain why women love to cuddle and be romantic after intimacy because they feel attached, whereas men sometimes feel tired or distracted. That's not to say sometimes men don't also want to cuddle, but the desire is substantially less due to the fact there's 3 times less oxytocin produced. And one last point, this may also explain why men get so angry if they ever find out their girlfriend has cheated. Because as a countermeasure, their evolution tells them there's a high chance she has gotten emotionally attached to the other guy, with a risk she could monkey branch to him permanently in the future. Anyway, that's reason 2, and now moving on to reason 3. Which is that women can perform mental gymnastics and gain the support of friends and family to justify their cheating, whereas men can't, and if he cheats, he is simply a dirty dog. What I mean by this is, have you ever seen a woman cheat? And then, once she gets caught, she immediately puts on the waterworks, uploads a bunch of posts on social media trying to defend herself, and then, just like magic, it seems the story gets twisted so now you're the bad guy and she was the perfect angel all along. For example, you might have seen a woman try to use justifications such as, "My boyfriends didn't make me feel loved. My boyfriend never satisfied me properly. My boyfriend was never home and I happened to be swept off my feet by another man who made me feel special." You've probably heard some of these before from either an ex-girlfriend yourself or from other women on social media. But guys, I'm here to tell you, don't believe any of it. They are all lies. And the only real reason a woman gets upset after cheating is she's upset she got caught. That's all there is to it. All of these other reasons, whether they fabricated them or not, are all just cop-outs. I'll repeat what I said at the beginning. If your girlfriend cheats, it's over. End of story. Anyway, without getting too carried away on this slide, I now want to highlight the disparity of how worthless men are made to feel if they are caught cheating. Put simply, if you cheat as a man, there is no sympathy. Nobody will try to hear your side of the story. You are just labelled a dirty dog and that's that. I'll reiterate, that's not to say what you have done isn't bad. You absolutely do need to reflect and think about the consequences of your actions. However, the reason I'm making this point is to show that women have a get out of jail free card if and when they cheat. But as a man, all you are is a dirty dog. That's reason 3. And now moving on to reason 4. Any woman, and I mean any woman, has the option to cheat, and therefore if she indulges in it, it shows she's low value. The same isn't true for men. What I mean by this point is that every woman on planet Earth, whether she's single or in a relationship, married or unmarried, attractive or unattractive, has the option to cheat within as short a space as 24 hours. Alexander Grace put it best that thirsty men are the world's most abundant resource. And any quick YouTube search of an ugly/old woman Tinder experiment proves this. In fact, even completely blank profiles with the gender set to woman still get an abundance of matches, and guys shouting into the void praying there's a woman on the other side. Bottom line, if a woman wants no strings intimacy, she can get it in the blink of an eye. Therefore proving her attractiveness has no correlation with her ability to cheat. For men though, the same cannot be said is true. For a man to cheat, he needs to be at the very least attractive enough for women to consider him, which is a percentile of men shrinking year after year. So if a guy is in the bottom 40%, it automatically means he can't cheat because he has 0 options. And if he's in the mid 45, cheating is almost as hard because he also has barely any options. Therefore, if a man is a serial cheater, though he is far from a moral person, by definition it does show he is in the top 15% of male attractiveness and highly sought after by women. And to show an example, what if I told you this man is married to some unattractive wife, they haven't had intimacy in years, and though he thinks about other girls constantly, he claims he won't cheat because that'd make him a bad person. Versus this guy who constantly has women throwing themselves at him. He's in a relationship, however, given his options, he sometimes entertains cheating with his superfluous women. In these two scenarios, is the unattractive man any better morally because he doesn't cheat because he can't, even though chances are he wants to? I think you understand my point that in order to cheat as a man, you at the very least need to be attractive enough to do so. This doesn't make you any more or less moral, but it's still an interesting nuance to consider. Anyway, that's reason 4. Now moving on to the last reason. Reason 5. In either scenario where the man or woman cheats, the woman can easily begin dating her backup options straight away, whereas a man will experience intense loneliness. Any man that has ever been cheated on will know that after the breakup, it leads to one of the loneliest periods in your life. And the reason this happens is because for the time you were in your relationship, you didn't speak to other girls, get numbers, and so on. Mainly because you didn't want to, but also because if you did, that would be cheating. In other words, your social circle dissolved and your whole life became about her. However, for your girlfriend during the same timeline in your relationship, she essentially had the option of what I like to call accumulating backup by putting any man that hits on her in the friend zone. For example, if a guy slides into her DMs, she can just say, "Sorry, I have a boyfriend." But now, at least she knows that guy is interested in her. Similarly, if she gets hit on by the guy that works at the coffee shop, again, "Sorry, I have a boyfriend." But she once more knows she can kickstart things with him if things in her current relationship go south. In other words, for a woman in a relationship, she can put all of her backup options in the friend zone. Then, as soon as she splits up with her current boyfriend for whatever reason, she'll be drowning in options with all of those thirsty guys. Now, the same can't be said for men in relationships. You can't go round hitting on women, sliding into their DMs, or asking for their numbers, because that's simply cheating. But a woman can get hit on all she likes and put an unlimited number of guys in the friend zone, and as soon as her relationship fails, she has all of the abundance to pick from after. Anyway, that's all the material for today. But as mentioned at the start, I have a huge announcement to make. I am super excited to finally release my Looks Max by 2 points in 24 hours program. This, which I've spent the last month and a half working on, is exactly what I wanted and exactly what it says on the tin. I delve deep in the 72-minute course of water retention to make your face lean, get a chiseled jawline and hollow cheeks, hair, facial hair, fashion. I have my 25-point first date checklist, which is everything you need to do before a first date. And as 3 further bonuses, you also get my 60-minute exclusive video on advanced SMV maxing, super in-depth, not bland, just go to the gym bro advice. This is really nuanced with plenty of value. You also get my 80-minute dating roadmap video, which is everything you need to live the perfect dating life as a man. And finally, you get added to my exclusive WhatsApp community with already 100 plus members. So, based on all this, if this has at all interested you, I'd highly recommend purchasing if you know the value is there and want to join straight up. The link will be in the description. Or, if you want to hear a more thorough explanation of the value in the program, I have a private video here on YouTube that explains it all further. Again, the link in the description. 2 final points. There is currently a sizable discount for those joining the community now in the early stage, which you'll be able to see on the landing page. And 2, yes, I'll still be selling face ratings, but this Looks Maxing program is my flagship product from now. That means I'll mainly be advertising this now, and I'd recommend getting in early while it's cheaper. Thanks to everyone who purchased both, and thanks for watching till the end of the video.